What a smorgasbord we have of indie releases in February 2026. Hello everyone, welcome back to A Fictional Escapist. My name is Kris, and today's video is the indie releases of February 2026. Now, normally I quote two blogs where I get this information from. However, today, thanks to Adam Bassett, who has told me there's actually more resources that we can go and use. So, as always, these lists do not come from me, they come from the people. One over at Rob J. Hayes over on his blog, and AJ Calvin, who has indie releases on their respective websites. So AJ Calvin has it over on hers, and Rob has it over on his, but also FanfiAddict also have a list of February releases. Now, this one I did have to vet for indie versus trad pub releases, but they do have indie on there as well. And also a relatively new to me bookstagrammer, who I believe is also an author, R.J. Lavender, puts out a list, and I believe she did one in January, and there is also one for February, which again has just more delicious indie releases for us. So all of their details will be down below if you want to go ahead and check them out. I believe in the cases of the first three, so Rob, AJ Calvin, who I know you are able to submit your books to and have them on the list for any month that they're coming out, FanfiAddict also has a link where you can submit your book to. I'm not sure so much about RJ Lavender, but I did find it to be a pretty cool resource for some books that weren't on the other lists. So we are going to jump in. There is a lot of blog articles. You're going to hear me clicking, be reading off the screen, because there is so much to get through. Starting with February 1st, which looks like a mammoth day in the world of indie releases. And we've got a cracking cover to start with. This is Without a Whisper, Songs of the Tangled Elegies, book number 2 by Molly McCabe. This looks so creepy. Check this out. The first line says, "The laughter never comforts. It only reminds them that they're not alone." So this is following on with Kate and Nick, the main protagonists from book 1. And that's a creepy tagline already from the get-go. Also on February 1st, we have Slaying Dragons for Tale by MJG Pither. That is cruel, putting a J and a G next to each other, because my brain can't at the best of times. This is grimdark and sword and sorcery. Byrne's a bit of a dick, but he's good at killing dragons. It's fortunate for Byrne that in the multicultural city of Fale, the dragon slaying business is a lucrative one, because that means he's rarely short of coin to spend on his only hobby, procuring the services of prostitutes. Byrne does sound like a bit of a dick. Yet sometimes Byrne's abrasive personality gets in the way of his own happiness, and he's forced into situations that he'd much rather avoid. So when the son of one of Fale's richest citizens finds himself in trouble in the wilds of the far north, will Byrne answer the call to save him? Yes, but only because it's been court-ordered. That sounds like a bit of fun. This is Grimdark and Sword and Sorcery. Also on the 1st of February, we have The Identity Matrix by Jennifer Rahn. This is the Saffrian Universe book number 3. Hopefully I pronounced that somewhat correctly. This has some cool tentacle situation happening up in the cover here, and this is a space opera, but it is a book 3. Speaking of book 3s, we do have another, The War for Crowns by Timothy Robert. Hopefully I pronounced it correctly. I apologize if I didn't. And this is sword and sorcery fantasy. So we've got some battle situation happening here on the cover, and this is also a book 3. Then we have She-Wolf, a Sapphic Beowulf retelling, and that tagline has me already intrigued. That seems awesome. In ancient Scandinavia, a land beset by monstrous creatures and legends, Beowulf is a warrior of extreme renown. Born in battle and shaped by steel, she has spent years proving that strength is not solely a man's domain. Yeah, the girls. Also, I didn't mention the author. This is by E.K. O'Connor, and it looks like this. When the halls of Hearth threaten to buckle under the horror of a monstrous creature known as Grendel, Beowulf answers the call. As she battles creatures of nightmares, she finds herself drawn to a queen, who she should slay for the good of the realm, a woman whose heart holds both solace and peril. In this sapphic retelling of the Old English epic, Beowulf fights not just for victory, but the right to wield her own destiny, defend her love, and stand toe-to-toe against the monsters that lurk in the dark. Color me intrigued. Also on the 1st of February, we had Veil of Embers. This is the Thread Fire series, book number 1 by Carla Molina. This says, Edartha is rotting from the inside out. Sorsha is a druid ranger sworn to guard the Veil, the shifting boundary that protects her realm from the creatures that lurk beyond it. When a cloaked figure whispers her name, the veil begins to tear. Monsters slip through the cracks, spirits stalk the woods, ancient gods stir awake, and Sorcerer's runes flare with a power she never wanted. The Druid Council offers no answers. The forests only try that again. The forest offer only warnings, and the dark Druid shadow grows stronger with every passing night. With Samhain approaching and the realm unraveling, Sorcerer begins to search for the truth hidden in forbidden magic and forgotten myths. Loyal Chiron stands at her side, and a chaotic Kate Seed, or that's probably not the right pronunciation, guides her through riddles, lore, and half-truths. Every path leads her closer to the one place no one dares to go. At the edge of the veil, one choice remains: enter the unknown or lose everything she's sworn to protect. That also sounds pretty dang cool. Moving on to the 3rd of February now, we have Death of a Curator. This is the Saw Chronicles book number 2 by Mallory, and I'm pretty sure we had book 1 in January, so is this coming out at one book a month? I'm not sure, but it looks like this. It says, when a series of gruesome murders at the Saw Museum leaves victims dissolved into necrotic slime, oh, low is the man on the spot. Well, I'm sorry for you, Low, because that doesn't sound fantastic for anyone involved. Also on the 3rd of February, we have Copper Skin, Oaken Lungs by Mr. Adam Bassett. This is a post-apocalyptic solar punk book with horror elements in it. And I just got the audiobook for this. I'm really looking forward to diving in. For 1,000 years, the Old Town has stood as humanity's last bastion against the Malkonis, malignant black mists that reduce the rest of the world to ash. They are kept at bay by rusty machines on the town's walls. In order to survive, the dwindling population depends on one another. Since a young age, Justine has embraced the harsh responsibilities that accompanied her apprenticeship on the last farm in existence. Her younger sister Anna is beginning her own apprenticeship as well. Learning engineering was not Anna's first choice, but the town's last mage fell to the Malkonis years prior, leaving nothing behind but confusing books and strange runes. When food runs low during a particularly harsh winter, distrust spreads like a plague, and Justine is blamed for it. As hunger leads to violence, she and her siblings are forced to flee the old town, embarking on a perilous journey into the very mists that have formed their cage. Their fight to survive in the dark develops into a hopeful mystery as they follow the breadcrumbs of a mage's effort to save the world. Meanwhile, something pursues them through the Malkonis. That sounds great, and it also sounds like it's doing something a little bit different with the tropes there, and I'm very much looking forward to diving into this one. Also on February 3rd, we have Hammerfall by the man himself, Rob J. Hayes. This is a standalone novel related to the God Eater saga. It says, how long can a cause remain just when painted in the blood of innocence? I swear I can speak. They named her the Starhammer once, hero to some, monster to many more. First into the breach at the shattering, anointed in the blood of 1,000 demons, the last of the legendary Valkyr. But the Starhammer is dead, or so the stories tell. Amidst the soaring trees and the haunted slopes of the primals, Silitha relies on the forest to provide and care for her family. Nothing is more precious to her than her daughter. It's a simple life, it's a peaceful life. It is a lie. When bandits raid the primals, burning towns and stealing children from their beds, Silitha has no choice but to lend her axe to the rescue. Volcanic giants spew ash into the sky, demonic bears claw the forest to splinters, and there are even rumors the kin, half men, half beasts, serve the raiders. All the terror of the old world stand against her. With a severed head as a guide to rescue the children, Silitha may need to bring the Starhammer back from the dead. But it will be the hero who rises from the grave. But will it be the hero who rises from the grave or the monster? Rob is a constant. Excellent time for me, and I need to read more of his works. I did miss one on the 2nd of February, so I'm going to jump back. I apologize. This is Fire in the Hearth by Stephen Raymakers. This is Scars of Magic, book number 2. It is sword and sorcery, horror, and dark fantasy, and this is an author that I would like to try at some point in the near future. From the Ashes of Despair, an Ember Awakens. That's all I can really go into there. Also on the 3rd of February, we have The Flame of Loki. This is the Ragnarok Prophecy book number 9 by Matt Larkin. This dude just pumps out these historical fantasy books. It's epic fantasy, grimdark, and dark fantasy, and it just says the world ends in flame. I can't give too much away outside of that. Jumping now to the 10th of February, we have A Game of Nights by Stephen Bowers. This is the Ruination game, Book 4, and is epic fantasy. The game is beaten, but a new one has just begun. It looks like we've got a game of chess with a sword in it, and that is quite intriguing. Also on the 10th of February, we have one of my anticipated releases, The Omens of War. This is the Record of the Orders, book number 1 by Olivia J. Elliott. It says the peace between Fiard and Castile teeters on the edge of collapse. In the fortress of Egon Hold, strategist Dante Pareto, I butchered that the first time I read it, I butchered it this time, becomes the unwilling host of the war, a simulated battle fundamental to rising in the ranks of Fiard's legions. As the contestants march towards a ravine shared with their enemy nation, a landslide swallows the soldiers within. Across the ravine, Lady Kayla C guards the Siestli frontier, aware that the war games will provoke a diplomatic upheaval. She deals in treaties and political alliances, but little does she know the next threat isn't coming through the border. Unbeknownst to them, both are pieces in a larger game played by eldritch beings for whom entire nations are little more than tools, and humans mere pawns. For in the end, the alchemists of the Order will unleash chaos in their eternal pursuit of arcane knowledge. The Omens of War will be heard by all. I'm very much looking forward to that one. On the 12th of February, we have Banners of Wrath. This is Dreams of Dust and Steel, book number 3 by Michael Michel, and it just says the war has come. I really need to get back to this series. I love The Price of Power. It's probably my most recommended book to people wanting to start and see how good indie fantasy can be, and it's a crime that I have not continued on with the series just yet. I am probably going to wait for book 3 to come out, and then I would like to buy the 3 paperbacks and then start from the beginning. Even though I've read Price of Power twice, it is my reread year, so potentially that will be happening. I am stalling, just so you can look at this glorious cover for a little bit longer. We also have on the 13th of February, was this the 12th? Yes, okay, on the 13th of February, we have the My Lord Special Edition by L.B. Shimera. Hopefully I pronounced that somewhat correctly. I apologize if not. This is the Transcended Book 1, and it's horror and fantasy. And this is, gothic horror and fantasy. After losing Hearth and home, Maya attempts to escape the traumatic memories by traveling east. In the 13th century Tristiana, however, it's not safe to be alone. A local slave trader catches wind of the kinless woman and abducts her in the dead of night. Beaten and abused, the now meek Maya is sold to Lloyd Dominius. He is known to be cruel, yet becomes strangely protective of his new chambermaid, punishing anyone who dares hurt her. After cutting her to drink her blood, he even uses his own to heal her wounds. Maya and Paramore wonder if Deminus's dark secret is why servants regularly vanish, including the Lord's previous chambermaids. However, the two women quickly learn that Lord I pronounce it differently every time. Deminus, I think, isn't the only danger lurking in the castle's shadows. Also on the 13th of February, I believe we're getting Dandelion Snowfall by Jake Theriault. I hope I pronounced that correctly. The memory of money is the root of all evil. This is a sci-fi novella. I don't think it's in any particular series, but it looks like this very cool cover. Desperate for work and short on terrestrial options, former Terran Marine Michael Madison ventures to the orbit of Jupiter, seeking employment on the volcanic moon of Io. The prospect of financial stability is too good to pass up, but the shine of the Jovian moons quickly fades as Michael finds himself in the middle of ongoing disputes between management and the workers. Pressure is building and Io is ready to explode. On the 16th of February, we have The Library at the Edge of the Wood. This is Cozy Cottage, book number 2 by Liz Delton. This is cozy fantasy. It looks cozy. I like a wood and I like some bookshelves in the woods. That seems delightful. And I can't give too much away, but just look at this cover because it is a book number 2. Also on the 16th of February, we have Voice of the Kami. This is Yasukai Monogatari. I apologize, by Baptiste Pinson Wu, and this is historical fantasy. This is the follow-up to Blood of the Kami, which I really, really enjoyed. We have another banger of a cover here, and this is From the Depths of Yumi's Dark Realm. The first queen of the yokai prepares her vengeance on the Kami, and I cannot give you more than that, but feast your eyes on this beautiful cover. On the 17th of February, we have The Man, the Myth, and the Legend with another hybrid Helix book, Prey of Angels by J.C.M. Byrne, and this one has a pterodactyl in the background. Sign me up. I need to get back to this series. Rohan has been building alliances and solidifying his abilities, all to keep his friends, his family, his homeworld, and the Empire safe from anything that threatens them, from anywhere in the universe, whether from inside the sector or from a distant galaxy. Like I said, I need to get back to this series. On the 19th of February, we have Escape from the Faerie. This is the Drayon Portal by Jamie A. Waters. This is epic fantasy / dark fantasy. And I really like the blues and the greens here. That is beautiful. The hunt begins the moment blood is spilled. The Unsully queen is dead, murdered before Sabine's eyes, and the princess is the one being hunted for the crime. Sabine Theora, heir to the Unsully, I pronounced it so confidently the first time, throne, never expected to watch her mother die beneath the shadowed boughs of the Silver Forests. But truth and illusion twist together, and whispers of regicide spread faster than fire. Betrayal in Faerie always comes at a deadly price. Pursued by the wild hunt and betrayed by her own people, Sabine has only one choice: run. Every step beyond the Faerie's borders carries her closer to exile, but also deeper into a deadly game of vengeance and lies, because no one dares accuse the Sully king of murder and survives long enough to tell the tale. On the 24th of February, we have Silver Sentience. This is the Draconade book number 4 by Anna Lawton, and this is sci fantasy and also historical fantasy with the pops of green in the back of the cover here. Now, it does say the Parallel Lives Trilogy book 1, but the Draconade book number 4, so maybe it's like a follow-on series. I don't want to give too much away, but I'll read the first line. It says, Jay Silver has been gone for 5 years, so maybe it's a time jump before the next series starts. Also on the 20th of February, we have Hallowed Be Thy Name. This is by Brooke Winters. This is Augustus Saint murdered his mother. Her ghost now haunts the house of North Lane. Augustus has always been told the devil lives inside him. He didn't know it was true until a failed exorcism results in his mother's disappearance, binding him to a devil only he can see. We've got that cool cover with the devil and the claw around the throat. That's kind of neat. As recurring nightmares bleed into reality, his darkening mind and growing paranoia leads him to the chilling realization that he is becoming the very thing he has always feared, the villain of his own story. A sliver of salvation infiltrates Augustus's guarded walls upon meeting classmate Nathaniel Carrington. Forced to collaborate on a university assignment, God, I hated that. Their research incites a desperate search for the cult that stole Augustus's mother, confronting him with the truth buried deep inside the house on North Lane. As Nathaniel and Augustus grow closer, the devil fights to keep them apart. Interesting. On the 23rd of February, we have Ruin Me. This is by Hannah K. Scalers. I apologize if I butchered that pronunciation. Magic births demons, lies birth betrayal. In a world torn by war, survival means choosing a side. Athalion has never known freedom. Raised in a land where the military decides every future, her only choices were to die or to fight. As a soldier of the Ashen Corpse, she is thrust into a brutal war where ordinary humans battle elemental mages and raging demons alike for their very existence. When Athalion is assigned to a squad led by a mysterious lieutenant hiding a past as dangerous as her own, she discovers bonds of friendship, rivalry, and something more forbidden than she ever expected. Yet secrets cannot stay buried. Someone knows what she is hiding, and they will use it to break her. As the line between ally and enemy blur, Athalion must decide who to trust. The war is not what it seems, and the greatest threat may already be within their ranks. Full of magic, betrayal, forbidden love, and dangerous truths, this spellbinding fantasy is perfect for fans of Divergent, Dragon Age, and Avatar: The Last Airbender. Interesting. On the 24th of February, we've got a couple of entries. Another author who just smashes out these books is Nick Snape, and we have Emperor's Fall coming our way. This is the Wrecking Squad, book number 5, and I believe this is the series concluder. Do not quote me on that. Fracture an empire and expose the weakness at its heart. We've got another cool cover here. I have had such a turbulent relationship with space operas, but this is one I really do want to try. So maybe some Nick Snape will come into my TBR in the near future, but is coming out towards the end of February. And we also, on the 24th of February, have my cover pick for the month. This is The Price of Fear by Mars Lyon. This is the Wretched Trilogy, book number 1. For a godless like Azrael, the Wretched, peace might be a more profitable time. but it's no less bloody. A decade into Armistice, with Enath, the North, once united against invasion, finds itself a divided kingdom. Asriel, an infamous mage of the Northern military, operates in his native land as a contract killer, employed to hunt traitors by a king who is squabbling against would-be usurpers, I can speak. But when the completion of his latest bounty unveils a foreign plot to dethrone the North altogether, Asriel is the only one who can cross the border and respond in kind. Or he would have been, until betrayal at the final moment resulted in his killing of the wrong man, and capture by those he spent half his life fighting. Now, imprisoned and awaiting his execution for the murder of an Enathian crown prince, Asriel finds himself across the interrogation table from Anamira Lestrade. What a name. Excellent name. A career criminal investigator. Anna is tasked with extracting the truth behind the assassination or dying in failure, linking the two through one last story that could stave off both their gruesome ends. Oh, I'm loving the sound of this. Possessed of few friends, countless enemies, magic blades that feast on his emotions, and the haunting rumours of how he won his name, Asriel the Wretched's narrative pits him against the traitorous conspiracy, brutal magical feuds, and broken promises of love. And if there is any hope of making it out alive at its end, he'll need to conquer the price it cost him to paint the tale. Fear. Oh, that sounds good. And the last one on this list, and one of my most anticipated releases for this year, is The Cure for the Living, Part Number 1 by Nicholas Lietzow. This is the 12th World, book number 2, Part 1. This is coming out in 2 parts. The first part is coming out on February 26. I cannot wait. That's all I can give you for that one, because it is a book 2. That was an epic list for February of 2026. If there's anything I missed, please do let me know, and I'll put it down in the description box down below. If you like this content, give one of those. If you want to see more of it, click subscribe at your will, and I will catch you in the next video. Ciao.